Well, it is that time of year again. Skip Raver here at the Cigarette Factory. And the one reason that brings us here is that usually we would visit Skip at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show. But with Cigarette now having so many boats in production and it being such a long time in the water, a couple of years ago, Skip decided, and I'll say why, because it just made sense to have his own little boat show here at the factory.
I'm glad that you came here. I appreciate the time. Looking around some of the new things that we're doing here, we're quite proud of. We're kind of selective when we have people over here.
Right.
So this is kind of like a behind the scenes and seeing what's new and the latest.
Yeah, and it's exactly that, behind the scenes, but it's what better way to update us on the latest, greatest from Cigarette, because there's always something new happening here. Every time you tell me about a new boat that you built, somehow it finds a new home and almost immediately. So nice to be here at the factory to see what's going on in the lamination. You're going to show us in a moment here a new CNC machine.
We make exhaust vents for the blowers, side panels, all the upholstery panels for our boats.
Yeah.
All right. So the first operation is pocketing out all the material that we don't want to lighten up the panels, get the boats as light as we can.
And is there a fudge factor or an error factor? Do you ever get one that somehow goes outside of its tolerances and then you have to go back to the drawing board?
No. After setup, after we get the panel fit, every single one of them is going to be exactly the same.
Would you say that every model, every Cigarette model, has some component manufactured from this machine, from this workstation?
At this point, yes, sir.
It's done a lot in the short time we've been standing here. It's done a lot of cutting, and I haven't seen a single fiber leave the table. It's not generating a tremendous amount of noise. It appears there's no dust or pollution or particles. We don't have to wear hard hats or safety glasses, so it's
a very clean process. The vacuum sucks all the debris and chips out of the way.
We're now in the finishing shop, or the rigging and assembly shop, which is assembly and rigging is basically what I consider a lot of cleaning up and buffing and last minute stuff.
Well, the boats are really here the least amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, the final rigging, the other things, the finishing's all done, the painting's done, the upholstery's done, it's just fitted. So when you show a customer the boat and you tell them you can have it in 2 weeks, they think you're on drugs, and they'll be done.
Let's talk about Key West. Now, obviously, you've always been well represented with a good dealer. The newest dealer has been what I feel a great strong suit for Cigarette is to have Performance Boat Center out of Missouri, out of Lake of the Ozarks. They are really aggressive in their performance boating product. They're into racing. They're at Lake of the Ozarks, which is a hotbed of performance boating. They sell cigarettes now proudly. They have a good inventory of cigarette models, and they're moving boats.
They're definitely moving boats, and you know why? They believe in the brand. And that's what our secret has been. We build the best quality boat in the world, and it's the best brand. And we're going to be here. We stand behind our boats. It's not, this guy's hot this year, this guy's hot next year. Pretty much at your run, we're hot every year, and we're the best represented every year.
Another Huntress right behind us is beautiful blue machine here that we're going to get a quick look at shortly. Not quite finished yet, still needs an arch and a hard top, still needs some power, but coming along well with some nice, beautiful paint. I haven't seen that color in a while, but what do we call that color?
It's cigarette blue. We came up with the color. Dave Hunter helped us. We just blended it. The fade is amazing. You got to see it in person.
Now, there's still some other models I see around, and there's a lot going on in the factory. We had a chance to look in the factory. You know, honestly, I'm not that really seasoned at looking at a boat in the mold and telling you what it is, but it looked like there was some new stuff going on there, or maybe variations of existing boats, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And that's all I'm going to get, right?
That's correct.
And one final point. I did enjoy going into the small parts section where there are probably more than 100 molds of various pieces and parts. And it's hard to figure out what a part is when it's inside out. So when you look at the mold, you got to imagine what the part would look like, the opposite side of that. And I can't figure out what half of them are, but imagine the detail that goes into every part.
I'll tell you what, we have the best team in the world here. I mean, the people that they know where they are, they know where they're inventoried. I agree with you. You couldn't tell the difference. But they're oiled machines back there. They know how to get it. They know how to do the production. They're on schedule, and I'm really proud of them. You know, Bud and I get a lot of the press, let's say. It's all the people working back there that build the boats.
And they seem to just go about their job and really not get too fazed by our cameras or by the fact that the president or the owner is walking through the factory, probably because you do it so often that they're just used to seeing you there.
That's correct.
All right, well, I want to thank you, Skip, and all the people here at Cigarette Racing for having us back in here. We should come by more often. Seems to be a lot going on. Obviously, Key West just around the corner. We're going to miss you at the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, but I'm sure you're going to do just fine.
Thank you.